Hello, guys. It's the Bear of Wall Street, Justin here, and I am fortunate enough to be beside Colin and Tom. Colin, he joined the group May of last year. Yep, May of 25, and we'll let him talk some about some of the success he's had since he's joined the group. And then there's Tom, who joined around December, who immediately after joining the group has taken like a bigger role. He has his own channel, and he comes with many years of experience and valuable experience. And we all got together and traded the last few days, and I think it was overall a great experience. But I'm gonna turn it over to Colin and Tom to say hey and to kind of give their feedback about how the last couple of days went.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Justin. It's been a great couple days, and the trading success that we had just in that condensed period, for me, even from a profitability standpoint, has been good. Um, the main benefit I saw, though, as we traded together, and we talked about this throughout the day, was sharing our ideas, specifically with the tickers that we were trading and the stocks that we were trading, because we all have the same strategies, and it was really helpful for me because I come from trading alone, without any distractions. So I really didn't know how it would go, um, but going into it with an open mind and knowing that we had we were in the same company of good traders, I thought it worked out really well. And sharing uh, the information with each trade, asking for news, float, whatever. For me, it was beneficial, um, because when you have to rely on yourself to pull all the information up, and it takes time, and seconds count. So for me, that was the biggest benefit, and I could say that I actually made more money the last couple of days than I normally do because of that, because there was some speed involved. So overall, I thought it was great.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm the same. First of all, I'm Colin Miles. I'm been in the group for almost a year now, and my journey getting here has been wonderful because uh, first I became profitable, I became consistent, and getting here and just having this level of experience to ask all the basic questions to all the new people out there. Being me, I just thought it was invaluable, and that's the word I have to use because there's no measure to this. How invaluable this 2 days have been, and not only were we were all profitable in much bigger way than we've been recently, just being together. So
What do you feel that you picked up from just from a why do you made more money than you normally? I mean, let's
absolutely,
get right down to it,
I
right?
mean,
I mean,
I average.
you were
Yeah.
more profitable the last couple because of just because it was.
Well, we're all trading the same thing and we're all share the same ideas. And I'm ultimately just trying to get to their level of experience. So having that, just being able to ask the questions and have them answered right there on the spot, you know, it just, I don't know how to put it in words other than it's just great to have that. You got a soundboard there to bounce everything off of and just make you better in that moment.
Right.
And all three of us are profitable traders, but we all three averaged a little bit more than we normally do. And we traded. So for Thursday and Friday, we traded, and we were all three green. Blessed for that. Anytime you can green and you're green in the market, it's a good day. And funny enough, we all averaged a little bit more than we traditionally do, and it wasn't because there was more setups, but man, it really kind of shows you the importance of a community. On a smaller scale, our Discord, that we're doing that every day. But what we got to do the last couple of days with Tom and Colin, like quickly bouncing ideas off each other, and hey Colin, where's that halt band at? Or hey Tom, what do you see on the chart? Like
Right.
it was. I mean, it was an amazing experience, and I averaged. I had great days. I'd probably average 50% more than I typically make. I mean, it was significant.
I would agree. And that's why I asked the question, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's where I gauge my success. I mean, we're traders and we're here to make. money, and I mean I did well the last couple of days, and when I self-reflect on that and think, okay, well, why did I do good? And I can say it was because we were together, and I was able, for me, selfishly, I was able to say, Colin, can you pick up? Can you tell me what's going on in the news? What's the float? Where are you at? Justin, are you in this? What's your average? What
Did you
percentage?
average up?
What's your percentage? Those types of things that you process while you're in a trade, if you can verbalize it with people that are around you, and it's almost a soundboard that comes back and it confirms what you're doing, and you have that in the room when you're in the Discord, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's just that next level that you're together live and you can implement on those trades. And fortunately we had setups. There weren't any trades that were forced. We actually had some positive, and I'll say some A+ setups that we did well on. And for me, I made more money because I could execute quicker and make quicker decisions.
I think something to add to that. We were here Thursday and Friday these last 2 days, and we had several setups, but they were not out of the norm. I mean, it was just normal trading days. It wasn't like we had these magnificent days where everything, all the stars aligned. This was just average trading days as far as the stock market gave us, but we made the most of it because we were together.
And just to, okay, finish your thought. I was going to say, just to clarify, we were working 10 hours, 10 plus hours a day. And that's typical for me. I'm at the screen at least 10 hours. I'll take an hour for lunch during Slack time, that I call Slack time during lunch. But I thought it was nice to have that same discipline, if you will, with other traders that were there doing the same thing. But we had our eyes on the screen looking for trades 10 hours.
And the cool thing about that is the reason why I like having Tom and Colin, because Tom's a full-time trader. He's been doing this full-time for a while now. And then Colin, so you get both worlds. So he actually still has his day job. So he's found success in the group. He went on a 6-month winning streak, which I would love to say everybody that joins the group is going to go on a 6-month winning streak, but that is not true. I took him under my wing a little bit, and I still don't even think that was it because I've never had a 6-month winning streak. But the point is, he works his day job, so he still has found success with the strategy, just doing it a couple hours before he goes to work and pre-market. And then Tom, he's legit full time, does it, lives and breathes it, and he trades a significant amount of hours waiting for the right setup. So, and then I surprisingly, I still have a W-2. I got a lot of freedom, and I enjoy what I do. So I'm still working it, of course, but we all three have a little bit different, availability, and we still all find success because at the end of the day, I would love to say my strategy is perfect. It's not, but short selling small caps is such an edge. So joining a community that you actually, know what those edges are, because me and Tom, we had to learn it the hard way, man. Tom, like I wish what I would have gave so much money to have somebody say, hey, you avoid this, and this, and you do this, and this. I lost a lot of time. I mean, super stressful overnight holds and big losses to get to where I'm at. But we've kind of created a little cheat sheet. But again, like it always is, trading is risky. But if you join a community that knows what they're doing, I mean, it's kind of invaluable if you want to take trading seriously.
I think invaluable is the right word. I mean, this is just, you cannot measure the significance and the just how good this has been. Even the city, Sarasota, Justin, the hospitality, the house. I mean, everything. I mean, this has just been over the top in every aspect.
I agree. The benefits from the Discord, the members in the Discord room over the last couple of days, I think is something to talk about, because I saw some feedback. I wasn't able to pick up all of the feedback because we had a couple very busy days. But catching up this morning and looking back on the messages, there was more engagement because of what we were doing. And I believe, and I don't know this for sure, but just from looking at the profits that were were talked about at the end of the day, I think people did really well, and hopefully that's because of how we set it up and did the live trading, so to speak.
Yeah, it was really cool. Colin, and again, if you missed this, Colin and Tom joined me for two live trading sessions. One was live on YouTube, and we had a great turnout, very good turnout. And then one exclusive, well, actually three exclusive in the Discord. We did two after hours as well, so
Right.
three exclusive in the Discord, and all three of those sessions we had success. Which again, I would love to say that always happens. It happens a lot. You know, we have success doing it, but we, like Colin said, there wasn't any like crazy setups, but man, what it's worth to be able to bounce an idea off Tom or ask Colin what is he seeing, because even like checking news sources and floats, like it's crazy. Depending on where you check, you can miss stuff. And there was times where I missed a news
And we had
headline,
three different. I mean, we'd asked to float, and I mean, they had three different floats for three different people.
but
Three different
but it gives us
platforms.
a good idea. And then like even asking the news, I might miss something, but on his program he found it and stuff like that. And it's similar to what we do in the Discord. We are fortunate to have some great traders in there as well that are very eager to share. And you know, I consider it blessed because I've had a lot of success short selling, but ever since we created this community, I've met new traders. It's kind of given me a new passion for it, to be honest.
I was just going to say that I'll go back and I'll repeat myself, but I've been trading full time since 2016, early 2016, and I definitely learned the hard way, through losses, self-taught for the most part. I've definitely read, I've watched others fail, and it's helped me learn how not to trade. And there's so much more, um, so many areas more, not how not to trade or how to lose money. And it took me a long time. I mean, it took several years before I became profitable on a regular basis, like on a monthly basis. And now it's on a daily basis or a weekly basis. But my point is, if I would have had the community that I see today in Justin's group, it would have saved a lot of time, and not only time, but it would have saved a lot of money too. So those are the hard things, and I believe that we bring that to the table and try to streamline it and make it easy to identify what not to do. And I preach it. I know, and it sounds like it as well sometimes, but risk management and what not to do, and what to do when you're caught in a losing trade, and how to trade it properly, and what to look for, and all those things come out. And there's so many lessons that are learned live during the trade, not after the fact, because it's really easy to talk about, well, this is what I did 2 hours ago. This is actually happening at the minute or at the second for some of these, because we're short trading, and short trading can be very, very active to the second. And if I would have had that, I mean, I don't want to say it's fast track, but it's as fast track as you can get
Oh, for
to
sure.
becoming profitable in a difficult trading area or strategies. But it's the most profitable strategy that I've ever had, and I've traded different types of commodities and options and some longs. Anyway, this is by far the best that I've found, and I've kept to it. So I stay in my lane, so to speak, and to share that with the others and see that they can become profitable.
The amount of messages we get is kind of insane. And even you got one this morning,
Yeah, I
like
think just like how
record breaking weeks, record breaking months, and again, not none of this is financial advice. It's just we share what we're doing. It's education, and it is incredible to see like people actually have like phenomenal success from just our education.
in the last 2 weeks, even just taking a snapshot of those 2 weeks, people are saying this is the best day I've ever had. This is the best week I've ever had, ever. Like ever is
That's
a
a strong
pretty
word.
big word.
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, and I've had great days the last couple of weeks as well. And we've had solid setups. Um, and we have on our monthly calls, we kind of go through, a recap of the month, and we talk about, you know, mitigating loss. And we talk about, what went right, what went wrong, how can we do better. We're bouncing questions off of each other. So we have this. What I'm getting to is we have this tight community, and
y'all know I keep it tight.
it
If people, if
it
people,
works well.
honestly, again, because if people don't jive in our group, like I'm usually pretty quick to boot them because again, this is something that we deem very valuable, and sacred's a strong word, but it's like this group. I want it to continue to be like a group of like-minded people.
It's a healthy group, and I haven't been in any groups, so I can't compare it to that to another group. But I can just tell you that it's constructive, and having a constructive group is I don't know that there's anything better.
Yeah.
And to me, it works perfectly to share ideas and trades and what works and what doesn't, whether it's at the moment in a trade or after the fact when you're recapping on our monthly calls or whatever. Because like I said, I traded by myself for over 10 years, and it was it gets isolating.
You had your dog.
And so yeah, I had my dog. So and he helps, but to have a community, and I was profitable, and I've been profitable, and it's been great. I've made really good money trading on my own.
Yeah.
But coming into the group, I was like, well, what am I going to gain from this? And I've gained a lot.
Yeah, that's so funny. Even Tom coming on this trip, I'm gonna call you out a little bit here. He's like, "What's the value added?" And it wasn't that he didn't want to go, but like that's his mindset when he does things. Is like there has to be value added, and I think there's more value you being in the group than we probably have given you. But I'm glad to hear that it's been very valuable to you too, because I think we're lucky to have Tom. He's super active, has his own channel, and and then we'll talk about some trades here shortly. But even the last couple of days, because there were some plays. I think it was TRT where you're like, I would never play. Oh no, it was I can't remember which one it was. It was yeah, there was one play that Tom was like, I would never trade that, and I was like, why is that? And then learning something from him, and then there were some of these that I deem as grinders, and I'm like, Tom, why would you play that? Like that's like, and then he kind of told me how he gets an order in close to the ask, and then he scalps it down to the bid. It's only like 10 cents, but if you do that 10 times, even just 1,000 shares you can make. So like little tips and tricks like that you don't have to learn on your own, because how long did it take you to learn that? You just so
it comes with reading patterns. Not to get into that discussion of pattern trading, but I don't, being live together, that was really the only way to share it, because it's happening at that moment, and then trying to explain, this is what I'm doing, and we'd gather around, look at the screen, and go, okay, if whatever we were doing at the time. In this case, it was placing the order on the ask. I don't remember the name of the ticker, and it doesn't matter. But just sharing those tips and tricks were beneficial the last couple of days. Just the little things, and the little things add up to huge. And I speak about base hits every single day, and at the end of the month, those base hits are like big.
Well, even though, like, for example,
I shared my P&L yesterday.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
So, and we're at the end of the month. Next week's the end of the month, and it's like, this is base hits. This is just base hits.
Well, and even like that, like we were talking about jokingly about the little, you would put the order in front of the ask, and then you would kind of get out on the bid, and like, I made, what was it, $120 in like 5 seconds, 10 seconds. So it was what I deem for my size, maybe a smaller base hit, but like it was like almost instant. I'm like, man, if I could do this just a few times a day, I'm set.
Yeah. And they don't always come up.
Totally.
But when you're watching the screen, and I'm not saying that you have to watch the screen 10 hours a day. It's just my passion, and I do.
Yeah.
I just do. That's what I do. So, and I'm like, well, I can identify quickly what works or what's worked for me in the past. And so in this case, I shared it, and we did well. And we made money.
And Tom has this magic touch the last couple of days. There was at least 3 or 4 instances where I was in a place. I'm like, I'm in it, Tom. And then Tom's like, he's probably a little more patient than I am, and he was waiting for the right spot, and he would enter, and within seconds, how many times did it happen? Like 3 or 4 times, like within like a couple hours, like as soon as he gets in, knife, like red candle down. I was like, what is this?
Right. Well, yeah, no, there's definitely, you get lucky.
Yeah.
Sure. But it was, to that point,
but you're watching price action.
It's a set, and you're watching price action, and there's a lot of feel in the market. And I know that's really hard to understand, the feel part, but there's so much feel that I can attribute to my success just because of all the time I've been in front of the screen
I
and
think that
traded.
opens a
So
good question too, and it's a tough one. I'm setting you up hard, Tom, from the beginning. But that feel, how do you get that feel? Is that just looking at the chart so long? Obviously, being in a community that shares, like we were talking
yeah,
about, helps. But where do you think that feel comes from?
yeah. I mean, it comes from time. It just does. I mean, there really is there aren't any secrets. It just comes with time and experience and identifying patterns. And um, I have probably approximately 30 tickers that I'll watch on a continuous basis, and they do a lot of the same things at different times of the whatever period, a year or whatever it is. So, for example, if one ticker, let's just give an example. So PAPL is a good example. PAPL is one that I've traded for has to be over 2 years. So and multiple times, 20 times for sure. And as soon as it hits your scanner and it gets to these key areas of resistance, I mean, it's a trade, and it becomes a trade. And so my point is, you you can feel it, and you hear the ticker, and you identify to that ticker because you've traded it before, and those patterns look and are probably the same. We don't have a computer up, and we don't need one. But if you look at the chart pretty much does the same thing, and you trade into it, and you're successful with it. Not to say it may run against you, but for the most part, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
They do. And there's always surprises out there, and that's a whole different discussion on mitigating loss and risk management of the trade. And we get into that in depth in the Discord and on our monthly calls and stuff. And that's a different level. But just from trading, from experience and time and identifying patterns. In this case in PAPL, we traded it. I think I traded it 4 times this week.
Yeah.
I think I was in and out 4 times this week, and definitely I know I did really well on it.
We played it Thursday, and again, me and him both almost said the same thing when we saw PAPL. We get excited when we see it, and not saying it hasn't. Like him, he said he's probably traded it 10, 20 times. I'm sure I've traded at least 10 times as well because this one likes to pop in pre-market after hours. This one it held its gains a little bit better this time, but still, just yesterday it's still in that downtrend. It popped Thursday, and it's going back to where it started, but we identified some key levels on it. But again, that goes back to experience. You know what I mean?
There,
Because we've seen it pop so many times. We know what it usually does.
most of my trades are scalps. I mean, and I can see them and what they're doing. If I can pick up 10, 15, 20 cents, I mean, for me, that's my day.
Well, all I can say is just like in this conversation, I'm a sponge. I'm new to this, fairly new. I've only been doing it less than a year, and this just sitting here with this and just having this around you 24/7 is it's awesome. I mean, I can't speak enough into it for these new people to get into a group like Justin's, or with having this level of experience to gain from, and it just helps you day by day to become a better trader.
And Colin is a good example. So me and Tom have a little bit more experience than Colin, but he's the reason why me and Colin, one, he's a friend at this point. Like we have a very good relationship. But two, one of the main reasons I wanted Colin on this trip as well is because he's a good. I'm just going to be honest with you, a good example of somebody that he was doing the long side with the Ross program, did not have success. A lot of our new members are come from the Warrior Trading, and he also came from Warrior Trading with limited success, and that's a nice way to put it. And then he joined, and again, it hasn't always been a smooth journey. He had a little loss when he first started, but he's made it back and some. And he's just getting started, and he's seeing green, and he's been able to even help out his church. With he's humble, he's not going to bring it up much, but he's helping with a project there, and it's being funded by some his trading profits.
That's exactly right. I mean, I can't put enough value on this camaraderie, this group. I'll say it again. Invaluable is the only word I can put on it because there's just no price tag for this level of experience on a daily basis.
What do you think? What do you think was the game changer when you joined the group? Obviously, short selling has its edge, but
That's right.
what do you think? Was there anything in your mind that had to flip? Was there anything, or was it just strictly strategy? And that's if it's strictly strategy, that's fine.
I mean, there's several things. I key on a lot of things. I come from a business background. I still work. I have a day job. And so everything to me is a business. So I have to treat it like a business. I mean, I have to make money at it. It has to make sense. And I wasn't doing so well going long. I mean, it wasn't making sense, and I surely wasn't making any money. But when I started going short, and especially when I met Justin and became part of the group, I immediately flipped. And can I just put it on one thing? Probably not. But can I put it on the group, the going short, just the whole profile, I guess, of all of it, and here we are. And I don't know how, I mean, I wish I could just say it was one thing, but I don't think I can say it was one thing. It was several things. Going short, meeting him, becoming part of the group, having this kind of experience. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
Very good to hear. Anything you want to add to that?
I do want to add something to that because it makes me think about how I ended up at this table right now.
After a walkabout this morning, I mean, after I lost him, I mean, he'd gone missing for hours, and we finally found him.
Tom's enjoying Sarasota. Yeah.
Yeah, I just went for a walk this morning.
Walkabout.
But I met, and I think it's important for people that are watching this video. I met you. This is the first time we met in person.
Mm-hmm.
The first time that I made contact with you was the end of December. So 4 months ago, roughly, let's just say 4 months ago, right? And I was serious about joining the group, and I wanted, and so I talked to Justin over the phone and told him about my experience and what could I expect coming into the group and those types of things and what I could bring to the group. But for me, it was important to have and looking forward to a community of like-minded traders and being able to trade in that environment and do better because I'm always tweaking and I'm always learning and I'm always trying to improve. And I mean, it gets to the point where you can kind of get hard on yourself, but I'm self-reflecting on everything I do from a trading standpoint at the end of the day, and these guys have seen it, and we talk about it. I'm getting a little off subject, but I picked up some very valuable pieces of trading strategies and advice from Justin, and it's helped me make more money. And I'm interested in making more money, and I'm trading, and that's what I'm doing. So I appreciate that.
No, for
and
sure.
it's been good. I mean, you've opened up a few key areas for me, and I quickly executed on them because I've had the experience and I was able to see it and identify to it and execute on it, and specifically return of capital. And that this gets into a bigger discussion.
Well, I like this combo.
But the return on capital, I'm used to trading with a larger account size and conservatively, and that's by design. But I've seen Justin's methods or strategies around return of capital, and they're completely off the chart. I mean, they're completely off the chart. And I know what people make, traders, successful traders, and to have those types of returns on a daily basis and compounding that on a monthly basis and on a yearly basis is life changing. I guarantee. Well,
I wouldn't have this properity right here if it wasn't for
right,
trade. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, but it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and I do well, and it's not like I've taken more risk to achieve that. It's just been tweaking my account size down even and getting better return on my capital and being able to become a better trader and have more thought into each trade. And because it's important for me to have a good return on capital, because there's other places that you can put your capital
Totally.
and make money, and to have something idle, just for me, it doesn't work. I come from a investment background, and it's really helped out. So that's one thing that comes to mind, and I think about it, every day. And we've had a lot of discussion
Yeah,
about
we've
this.
had a lot of discussion, and thanks for sharing that too. Because again, I trade with a little bit smaller account than I have to be over the PDT requirement, but I very much if I have cash in something, I want it to be making me money, return on capital. But Tom, he started with a slightly bigger account, and you were making less. Oh, you're still Tom's killing it, by the way. Like making, I'm talking about less per day, but now he's actually got his account a little bit smaller, but you're getting bigger returns, and it's how you're using your capital. Which, I mean, again, some of the returns, Tom, I'm just proud that you are sitting at this table with me because the amount of knowledge and stuff. So the fact that I've gained from you, so the fact that I've been able to, help you on your trading journey means a lot because I've gained a lot of knowledge from you. But yeah, I'm pretty strict about return on capital, and again, not to this is just me being transparent, but even like last month, it was like a little over 200% return on the amount I had in there. So
You can't get that anywhere else.
yeah, no, it's.
I mean, in my world, you can.
Yeah.
I don't
In the
know.
business world, it's hard to get.
I mean, it doesn't exist. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and it just goes back to the strategy again, guys. It's not like it's rocket science. There's a lot you have to learn, and it's tough. I'm not going to dare say it's easy, but again, it's just like that's why we go back to the communities because like what I've gained even from Colin, like he's a new trader, but he taught me so much about locates. I know because again, I was the type that it was just like, well, if I see a high locate price, I would still pay for it a lot of the times just because if the setup was right, it was worth it to me. And then Colin really locked in on locate prices, where he started noticing a trend where if the locate prices were, high, astronomical, and in hindsight's 2020. Now, of course, it makes sense because that means the float's tight or it's a small float, supply and demand. But even little tips and tricks like that, I learned from everyone in the group. From little tips that we've all learned along the way. It's pretty cool because I've avoided some bad losses, avoiding some tickers because of high floats because often those are the ones that rip too.
We we went out to dinner last night with a fellow trader that's in the group, Denny, and Denny and I were talking on a side note last night about splitting your days into. For him, I think I'm quoting him right, but he splits his days in threes, and I learned something from that. Even just quickly, I'm like, yeah, that's a great lesson, or it's a good idea, because I'm a full time trader, but not everybody is, and I realize that people have jobs and they trade in the morning when they can, or they trade in the afternoon, or whenever they can fit trading in, and that um, can be very profitable as well. So I don't want to get to put out an idea that you have to be a full time trader and staring at the screen 10 hours a day, and that's the only way it'll make it work. It's not true. In this case, Denny and I were talking about, well, there's pre-market or there's pre-market before pre-market. In other words, you could start at, we're on the East Coast, 4 a.m. and trade till 8 p.m. So, and there's trades throughout that time period. I personally don't trade that long in the day, but there are people that do, and there are strategies that exist during certain periods during the day, and we talked about that. And then we opened it up, and we were talking about the table. My profitability, if I look at all my trades, come after hours, and I pick them up during the day as well. But I'm the most profitable after hours for whatever reason. That's been my experience. But my point is, you can trade in the pre-market. You can come back in the afternoons, or you can come back intraday, or whatever it is. You don't have to stare at the screens all day long. And if you're a member of the community, and this happened to me last week. It was last week or 2 weeks. Last week, I had to take off for a few hours during the day. I had some appointments, and I become disconnected from the market. And I know it's funny because it's only a few hours, but that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so because there's a personality to the market, and the personality and the moods change in the market, and if you can identify those and you feel those even by each, as the hours go along, and you can capitalize on that, to me it's a big benefit, and that's how I make money doing it. But when I have to take off like a few hours during the day, I come back immediately. I turn on the Discord, I go through it, and it helps me catch up to the market, if you will. And I'm like, okay, this is going on, that's going on, this is moving. In the past, I'd have to figure it out myself. I'd have to go, okay, what's going on, and it's almost impossible because you have a gap in time, and you kind of have to bring yourself back in, and not like you have to start over, but it feels like it. You're cold.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about playing sports, if you're sitting on the bench for a while and you come back in cold, you're cold. So this is, I feel like this, but this has helped me because I can come right back in and feel the heat.
That's a really good.
Yeah.
I want to add something to that too. You said time of day. I was blessed. I think the good Lord was just looking out for me because I had to go to work every morning, and so I had to get ready. And I'm on Central Time, and so I had to get ready at 8 o'clock Central Time, which is 9 o'clock market time. And so Tom doesn't trade during that time. He just stops trading at 9 o'clock, and that was something I kind of learned from this. It just happened to me by accident.
Yep,
So I was fortunate, just for the good Lord to be looking out for me. But with that said, something I've got from this, he just stops trading during that time. And lunchtime he'll stop, and it's important to take a break, but to be able to just go and inject yourself right back into the market, like he said, coming off the bench and you're cold, you're coming off the bench at least warm.
There's a lot to be said about it.
To have that discord and to have that chat going to what's going on, so you get the benefit of just taking all that in without being there.
I can tell you right now, if I open the Discord, there's people that have been talking in there this morning, and whether they're recapping or they're talking about a specific trade that they ran, or they're sharing ideas or whatever it is, and I do it on the weekend. And I'm thinking, okay, because it's on my mind 7 days a week, and so it's nice to stay connected that way. In the past, I would find things to read. I would self-reflect. I'd go through my P&L. I'd go through my trades and whatever, and do my own recap. But it sure is nice to have that and see it in the room and feel it and share it with like-minded traders. And so, to your point, I completely.
Yeah, and that's something I haven't even really thought about that much, because that's the first thing I do. Because again, I still work I have little other side hustles, and I'm trying to make trading is number one priority. But it's as I continue on this journey, I want it to be my main focus, and kind of eliminate
away from our W2.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it. But and I don't know. Again, the reason why I keep my W2 is because I actually enjoy my job, and they treat me good. But there will be a day soon that it might be a little different. But as of now, I still keep it. But that's the beauty of like what Tom was saying, though, is when I do have to take those breaks away from the market, when you come back and look through the Discord, because that's a good way to put it. Because when you feel cold when you come back, you're like, oh, this just happened, that happened, and you're trying to piece together, because the market always has a narrative. There's a story always,
and it's changing. I can say, just from my experience, it's changing. I mean, it can change to the minute, but a little bit bigger picture. It's changing hourly.
Yeah.
And if you have that feel, you're much better prepared for what's to come around the corner, because there's another trade coming around the corner. I mean, soon.
And if there's a theme or there's a narrative, you need to be aware of it. Yeah.
And whatever macro stuff's going out in the world, or whatever it is, you're there and you can execute on it. And it really brings me back in immediately. And I'm like, okay, I know what I'm looking for. And that helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big benefit to the room for me.
I agree.
And I like Denny's. I like Denny's he splits it up in 3 days, or 3 parts of the day. I think that's a great way to look at it. There are certain times of the day where I absolutely do not trade. I mean, I just don't trade a half hour before the market, because my history shows that I don't make money, and I force trades. I also don't trade a half hour before it closes because of the same thing. And there are certain tickers that are lining up for after hour moves, and I'd rather take that opportunity to watch those tickers. So there's certain times of the day, like around lunchtime, that I just don't trade.
Yeah, and time of day, and it goes back to which is kind of interesting that you don't trade during that time, because that's why I stop my live streams at 8:30, 9 o'clock usually, is because I've noticed, even statistically, data points to me not trading as well. I'm profitable during that time, but I have to take 3x the amount of trades to be even less profitable than I am from 7 to 8:30. So,
Right.
And when I do take losses, they're usually a little bigger during that time frame. And I did try what I like being honest with you. I took one on Friday, yesterday, and it reminded me why I like to sit out that time. Remember, I was like going
That's
into
true.
market
That's right.
open. I
It's
was
the market open.
yeah, the LIDR. I was managing it, and it turned out to give a decent pullback, and found a way to make money on it, survive it more than anything. But the time of day is actually extremely important. Denny is right about that because, because it's the pre-market, the pre-market, even intraday market open 9:30 to 10:30 is its own beast, and then after that you get another segment, and then even power hour 3 to 4. You can see those late day pumps, and then obviously after hours 4 to 8. But even you could break it down to even more granular. 4 to 4:30 is the after hours time I like because of money rotation and other reasons.
There are big traders that have strategies to those time periods. Like, for example, the market open, there's big money that flows into the market, obviously, right at the open the market. And there's traders that that's where they make it, right there, that first 5 minutes. And they're looking at those setups as they come in, and you can see there's a lot of momentum that within the first few seconds, minute, whatever. And that's just something that I don't usually play around with, but it's important to identify that. And if you're going to do it, you have to know what you're doing, and that gets into another discussion. If you're in a short and you're shorting a ticker, and you're the company, you really need to know what you're shorting. This is a discussion that'll come up, and I think we should just make it it's completely its own playbook, and we probably will end up doing that. But it's understand what you're shorting, know what you're shorting. I mean, don't do it blindly, and there's research that needs to be done. There's certainly technical things that you can trade off of, but for me, I spend a lot of time understanding and knowing what I'm shorting, so I understand the risks that are involved, and mitigating any risk before or right at the beginning of the trade is super important.
And that's the cool thing about all three of us too, because we all I don't know if priority is the right word, because just like Tom said, he's digging in probably a little bit more than me. Where I'm probably technical first, news second, fundamentals third. Where Tom is, how would you say you?
Well, first of all, news driven, and I will do a quick scan. Um, I will do a quick scan unless I know the ticker.
Yeah.
And the example that we gave of PAPL is one of those examples. And I'm not going to say that any news doesn't matter, because it does, but I know this ticker and several others. If it makes a move to this area, in this case, I think it was $1.
One, yeah.
I'm going to enter that trade. And in that case, I haven't looked, but I will scan, of course, news, and I will scan the highlights, and just to make sure that everything is not a buyout or whatever, because there are obviously tickers that move hard, and there's a buyout, and you have to see those, and you're obviously not going to trade them. But to your question, yes, I do a quick scan of the news. I do a quick scan of maybe filings, if I have the time, and I'll enter my trade. And my trade is entered at a smaller level, or a smaller size, excuse me. And then once I hit a smaller size, I'll do a little bit more digging. This week has been great. The last 2 days have been great, because I was able to go, okay, can you grab this? Can you grab that? And then it helped me with my sizing. So, I mean, if you think about that, I mean, seconds count.
Oh, for sure.
And what we're doing, and if you can confirm what I'm thinking, or vice versa, my sizing changed this week. And as a result, I mean, I
killed it.
I did better.
Yeah.
And so we're reflecting back on the last 2 days, and I just talking about it now. That actually happened, and so that was cool. But your question was, no, I don't jump first.
Well, yeah. So, and it's probably not even that good of a question, but it is just I've noticed talking to Tom where I'm a little bit more, and he's very technical, folks. Don't get me wrong, but I notice like the first thing I look at on those live streams, what's the percent up? Is it coming up to a level?
Yeah.
And if it's the perfect setup, or not perfect, but a setup, sometimes I will go ahead and get my starter in before I even check the news. I check float first these days, because I've got burnt too many times. I used to not even check float. Like if it was that technical candle, it hit a 200, or it hit a very clear level it's failed at numerous times, I'm about to slam it. But as I develop as a trader, I try not to, and this is just for live stream. Obviously, intraday's a completely different story. I'm doing a ton of research, but I'm talking about for the quick, sudden moves. But like for a PAPL or something that's been pushing intraday, like I've already done a ton of research on that point. But from a live stream perspective, and the reason I bring that up is Colin, he won't get into a pre-market play without at least checking the news, and I've slowly transitioned to that. But if it's still a clean setup though, because the problem is like Tom said, like Tom said, the seconds are important sometimes, and it's crazy if you take those. But I do again, not financial advice ever, but I'm not saying to ever jump into a ticker, because I'm slowly transitioning to, even if it's technically beautiful, I'm still checking float news these days, because if you jump into a nano too early, or if you jump into a buyout like he was saying, or a nice share a buyback too early or something like that, I mean, you're immediately underwater. And again, one of my edges is managing positions. It's not stock selection, it's how to manage a position. And I get away with a lot, but I've noticed since I've dialed that in, I'm not in as many sticky situations either.
Yeah, I agree. And not to misunderstand too, because I do read charts.
Yeah,
I immediately read chart. I'll bring up the daily, and then I'll dial it into in 1 minute or 5 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. But and it's crazy, but I memorize charts.
I feel like do you think you focus on price action more, or like levels? Because I think you're.
Well,
go ahead.
I see levels,
and
then I immediately go to price action.
Yeah.
So and the levels you can memorize immediately, and you can see them. But the price action becomes key. Is the number one for me? Number one part, and then what volume is moving in on the 1 minute. And again, this goes into a completely different area of expertise, and we'll probably have something on that, but on the strategy specifically to that. But yeah, that's what I do, and then follow price action. And for me, I mean, it's price action determines where and when I'm entering my next trade, and then risk management comes into that.
And even going back to watching the charts, because even if you reflect back on price action, have you ever noticed this? Like, so let's say we pull up PAPL or something, or one of those ones that we entered. Even if you look back at the chart, it still is not the same as when you're watching it live. Because even a 1 minute candle, like watching how that candle builds, or the 5 minute, in the moment too, it tells a story.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
It's not even watching it; you can feel it. For me, everybody's different, but I have, and I'm not saying this is a good idea, but I have level 2 on the side, and if I'm in the middle of a trade, my level 2 is going, whatever, and so I can feel the volume, I can see the volume, and then I'm playing that price action out that way. And again, this comes with quite a few years of experience around it, but that's what works for me, and I've been successful with it, and I play off it, and I know that our risk tolerance. Each one of our risk tolerances are different, and it's unique, and it's been beneficial the last couple of days just watching that. Why we might do something, why we might take a little bit more risk here, and then talking about why we did it, and so that's been good too. But you may not do something I do, or you may wait for something, or I may wait for something for whatever reason, and then we're sharing those reasons after the fact, or even during the trade, and that's been great. So thank you.
No, it's good stuff. Colin, you got any comment on that?
Well, I mean,
I could talk all day.
Oh, the last 2 days we have like every conversation has been about trading. But honestly, I don't want it any other way, because again, I've been so isolated for trading before I went public. And for y'all that don't know, Kimfo reached out to me is the only reason I actually went public. I had a nice little winning streak, and they reached out, did an interview, and I was like, let me just beta test a small group, because I know I have a edge here. And it's kind of just grown from there. And but Colin, go ahead.
Well, purposeful conversation to me is very important. I mean, we come off on this trip, and we have had 2-3 days of just solid, just good conversation.
Outside of the trading hours, you mean?
Yeah, outside of I mean, all day long, every night. I mean, this has just been purposely driven.
Colin said the other night, he said, "Can we talk about, is there something more?"
About something else?
And I was like, I I don't know what
I
it
don't
would
really
be.
want to.
I don't like y'all outside of trading. You know?
And there's some joking that
Yeah,
goes
yeah.
on there, but when you're in the zone, you're in the zone.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
stay in the
The
zone.
compassion's there, and when you put this much compassion into one subject,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Passion.
I mean, the sky's the limit, man. I mean, it just being around this and being involved in it. Oh my God, I mean, I wish I could put words in it, but I can't. I mean, because this is it's just fantastic. I mean, fantabulous might be a good word. You just mix it all together and make it one good word.
That's a Jackson
That's
County
cool.
word. That's a
Yeah.
Jackson County word. But yeah, no. So you've had a good trip then.
Good trip. Like I had, invaluable. I mean, that's the only word I can use for this trip. The whole thing. I mean, the city, the people, the camaraderie, the compassion, the purposeful conversation. Everything.
What would you? So again, you're the newest of the traders. So a lot of people that are watching this are probably closer in your boat than mine and Tom's. What I know I've kind of asked you this earlier, but again, like, what if you could leave the people watching this with something to hang on to? What would it be?
A group of like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's
And
a simple
a
answer,
chat
but
room.
it's a good one.
The chat room too, because when you're like me, I don't have nearly the experience of these guys, and I'm sure a lot of you are like me. And with that said, having that group to rely on when you're down, when you're getting beat up, just having that there to look at and see, because there's a lot of other people going through the same things you are when you're starting this journey, and to have that camaraderie there is just, I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, I wish it could. It's just, you got to have it.
I agree. I, I would just add to that and say that there are so many intangibles in trading, um, and outside of the hours of trading, um, for me, in my personal life, I mean, I like to walk away from it, but while we've been here and talking about trading outside the trading hours and bouncing things off, the intangibles are I just haven't experienced them before, so it's been really good for me. We whatever we've done outside of the going to dinner or whatever, and talking about maybe that trading day or maybe something specific that happened to a trade that day has been great. I mean, there's so many intangibles. I can't. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, and again, we obviously, y'all know if y'all tuned in, I don't try to push anybody to the Discord. I don't try to push anybody to short selling. I always recommend just watching me on live stream, and you'll see that there's an edge. But even if it's not our community, if there is some type of community of like-minded traders, it's again just I did this the hard way. There was I mean, many years of me just like wanting to pull my hair out, learning it by myself. And the key thing is like following somebody, that actually live trades, or actually you can prove that there is a strategy. Because unfortunately, there are, a lot of people that try to take advantage of people in this world. And it's very unfortunate. It makes people like me, my job harder as I try to teach, because, there's a lot of trust involved. But again, even if it's not our community, just finding, and I think ours is the best, of course, and we're still growing, and luckily it's still small, so you get a lot more access to me and Tom. But one day that'll probably change. But again, the like-minded community, it's so important.
Justin, and I appreciate you're the most transparent person that I've met, and also in the trading world. I mean, there's a lot of questionable things that go on in the trading world, the business world. But having somebody that transparent, yeah, I mean, I took a loss in this trade, and that's what happened. I mean, or whatever it is, it's huge. I can't even, and that's what gravitated me towards when I first met you, because I saw you on a Instagram
Shorts, yeah.
Instagram, and I was like, well, this is different, and I'm like, that's cool. So, anyway, that's how initially I found Justin. But what I was going to say though is, I, I would push Discord, because there's nothing, and I understand what you're saying. You're like, yeah, I'm not pushing Discord, but I would,
Yeah.
because the reason I would is because it's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. And I've traded a long time, and I've seen a lot of, different things along the way, and it's a great group.
I appreciate that. No, I really appreciate that. And again, it just goes back to like if you hang around long enough, and I do free trials in the Discord sometimes. You'll see there's, I mean, most traders. Somebody shot me a message last week. It was like, within he said within an hour of being in your group, I made my like 6 month membership back. Yeah, yeah. It's like
I saw that.
that's a good return on
I saw
investment.
that.
Yeah, that's a good return on investment.
And another one was like, I've never made. Oh, I
Yeah.
think I mentioned. I've
Yeah.
never made so much money in a week, and they showed what it was, and it's like, well, I mean, that's 2 years.
Yeah.
And like,
It's
I mean, how do you even
the
put,
value proposition is again I don't think I charge very much. I try to make it the barrier to entry very small, but again I have to have some type of barrier to entry because
But my point was, there's so much value.
oh yeah.
And so if you want to get granular on it and say, okay, well, I have to pay this much money to get this, right? And people, they should think that way. And I'm going to pay, I forget what it is.
35.
Okay, $35 a month. And I mean,
it's a no-brainer.
I don't know, it's a no-brainer. But my point was, when I saw that message or that post, and I did the quick math, and I'm like, well, that's 2 years. I mean, you made 2 years in one day.
Yeah.
I mean, just to get into that, I mean, the value of the Discord. That was my point.
No,
and it's really good.
And it comes and it's more legit coming from you too, because obviously I want to pump it up, but yeah, I think we got something great. And Tom, you're again like the community has fallen in love with you. Some of your calls lately, but have just been off the charts. But just like Tom, like he has trades that don't work, I have trades that don't work. It's
part of the business.
It's part of the business. So I'm not going to try to pretend like you're just going to automatically. You got to put in the work, just like with anything good in life. But again, going back to that passion, when you can align passion and hard work, usually good thing and an edge in the market. I mean, it's obvious short. So you just pull up any small cap and you can just see where they eventually go, especially under 200 million. Like there is an edge in what we do, but the trick is, it goes back to the managing position, sizing, and go ahead.
Definitely no guarantees. I mean, I think it's important. It doesn't matter. I mean, I've put in so many years of doing this, and there's especially in the beginning and losing money and trying to understand why. And I mean, there were some crazy times and emotional times, and thinking, how do people do it? And then you read about the 95.5.
Yeah.
We're 5%, and I don't know how accurate that is, but it probably close. And then talking about short sellers and small caps, it's probably even smaller. But I have hyper focused into that area and found a great way to do really well in it and mitigating loss. And if there's something that I could talk all day on, I could talk all day on the subject is how to talking about risk management and mitigating loss. It's a huge thing, and we talked about it yesterday.
We talk about it every day. We talk about it every day.
I had this red trade, and this is what happened, and I can't believe I did what I did. And even with the experience, you got to check in your emotions as best you can, and your ego at the door before you enter your trading room, and trade in a systematic way. But we were bouncing it off each other, and it's like, no, I could have done better. And so my point is, I'm doing whatever I can to manage risk during that trade and mitigate loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you said that. There's no guarantees because there's people, again, the stats, I think they're probably true. I hear anywhere from 95 to 99% of retail traders fail. And I can see why, because this journey has been brutal at times. That's why I said I recommend joining a community. I hope it's ours because we really do have a edge, but for sure, no guarantees. Because at the end of the day, you don't just join the group and then you all of a sudden become profitable. Like you got to put in work. And going back to risk mitigation, I mean, I've had so many blowups. You know what I mean? Like, and luckily they were besides one, which is infamous. Most of y'all know about. But they taught me so many lessons, and that's what I share with y'all. Like a max loss. Nobody even told me what a max loss is when I had
Right.
mine. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know what a max loss was on the day, and I had to learn the hard way. So even little things like that, if somebody would have told me, I might have been hard-headed and ignored some of them, but I noticed a lot of the newbies that join, they're not going on that same journey I went on. It's a lot more fast tracked.
I mean, it's there again. I mean, the benefit is like, if I would have had that, honestly, it would have saved me a lot.
Oh yeah, the risk mitigation is huge. All right, guys. The camera overheated, but we were wrapping up, so we only missed like the last 2 minutes of us saying goodbye and all that. So to end it, we're gonna wrap it up now. Colin, if there's one thing you want to share before we bounce, what would it be?
Well, I think for me, I have prayed for this moment for basically the last 5 years. And that's the honest to goodness truth. I've prayed for Justin. I've prayed for like-minded individuals. I've prayed for guys like Tom, and to be here and surround myself with this has just been a dream come true. And, I can't tell you how valuable this group is, and just joining a group and having that at your disposal is just, like I said so many times already, it's invaluable. You can't put a price tag.
I would just add that it's been a great couple days, a great week, really, because there was some planning that was involved before we got here, and but it was important just to be completely free flow and do what we do, and trade how we trade, and then taking it to another level, and then sharing that amongst us, you know, in real time, and then doing our very best to live stream it during that time. So I thought it was a great couple days, and for me, I see the benefit of doing it again and again, and there's better times ahead. And then we've got some great things that we're talking about and implementing in the future. And for me, that couldn't happen quicker. I mean, we should do it. I saw a big benefit, and I've traded for years, like you've said, and I could talk about this all day, but it was great. Thank you.
I love it, Tom. I appreciate it. Yeah, me and Tom, we could talk about trading. Like we checked and we saw that we already been on here an hour. We're like, oh, we're just getting started, just getting started. But I can't thank y'all enough. I know it's a big commitment to make this trip for both of y'all. Tom lives on the other coast, and Colin had a good 5.5, 6 hour drive. So thank y'all for coming. And as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll be back on the live stream Monday. And as always, I think we're doing something great in the Discord. I'll leave the Discord link pinned in the comment. But on that note, guys, we'll wrap up. Thank y'all for being here.